Hey everyone, welcome to Get Ready. I'm filling in for Matt as your host this week. What we have a full weekend panel where we have a guest with Bogz. Nice to see you, Bogz. Thank you for joining us.
No problem. Yeah, pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invite. I think you guys are my first. I don't know if you guys count yourself as an after show or what, but this is my first one that I've been on. So first invite I've had. I've been on Spin from the Real. I tell a lie. So shout out to them guys. But no, apart from that, yeah, thanks so much. Obviously my very good friend Sol invited me on. So yeah, thanks. But no, just to clarify, like I'm actually a genuine fan of your guys' show. Like Sol kind of mentioned this media sweaties thing. I was like, what's she talking about? So I've clicked it, and then I've obviously seen your top 5 stuff, and I love a good ranking stuff. So yeah, I was thoroughly entertained. I think my first one was the Disney songs or something.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and like I think that, you know, like the reason I think I chose this list, right? Obviously, I don't want to spoil it, but I think one of the reasons I did, because I see 50 gets emotional when he talks about these movies and stuff, so I want to try and make him cry today. That's the actual reason. But no, honestly, like I see that as. Say again, sorry.
I hate you now.
No. I see that as like, honestly, I'm like that. Like I love this medium. Like it's a part of me. It's the way I choose to live my life. You know, like so invested in films and stuff. And I see that in you. So and I noticed with Ben, Ben is like when he's talking, he's like this. But when you guys are talking, I don't know if you guys are aware, he's like this. He's dead. He's so intensive with every word that you guys are saying, and he's like the first one to laugh or react. And I think, oh, he's such a good listener. Like I need to be like that. And then I wanted to say to Matt as well, like he's a really good host. Like he's dead. Like he's really warm with everyone, and like he can relate to whatever topic you guys are talking about. So like I'm not joking. I'm a fan of you guys. Like really nice show, and obviously Sol's gonna be a big star one day. You know, we all know that. So yeah.
In my mind, he is.
Bring me on there. There you go.
Oh, thank you guys. See, we just brought Bogz on to just say nice things about us, so we're good here. Now we can leave.
Well, before we get to this, let me introduce 50. And so, how are you guys doing today?
Doing good today. Just excited to have Bogz on. Yeah, happy Pokemon Day for all the Pokemon fans out there.
So, this week we had Bogz pick our topic, so why don't you say what it is, Bogz?
It is a top 5 tier jerker moments. I didn't know what to call it. It sounds a bit weird saying that, right? But I just meant, what I really meant was the top 5 emotional moments. I mean, it's really, really hard, of course. But like I said, my aim was to make 50 cry. So I was like, okay, where are we going? Yeah. And like I've got 7, but I'm going to leave 2 off. Like the 2 that I'm leaving off are from, I think Sol just mentioned it off camera as well. Like 2 of the most iconic scenes of all time in cinema. So I'm assuming you guys have got them as well. So I've purposely left them off, and I've picked more niche ones. So
and those can be your honorable mentions.
Yeah, put them in your honorable mentions.
Okay, so at least I can talk about it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so with all that being said, can you guess, please? It's not us open to number 5.
Okay, let me just get my notes because I wrote them backwards. Didn't make last minute changes. Okay, one sec. Let's see. Number 5. Okay, so number 5, I'm going for Man of Steel. Okay.
Ooh.
And it is the scene where it's when young kind of Clark saves the kids on the school bus, uses powers, and then he gets home and he kind of gets in trouble, and the kind of his friend's mum's, or not his friend, one of the kids who are on the bus's mother was there, and then he's kind of getting told off. He runs out of the house. Kevin Costner obviously plays his father, runs out of the house, and they just have an exchange where Kevin Costner says, "Oh, you know, like I told you, you got to hide this. Like if human beings find out what you can do, you're going to change how we think. Answers the question of what's out there, in terms of aliens or whatever." And then he's like, "Oh, did God make me like this?" And then it kind of cuts, and then he takes him to the shed where he shows him the ship. He's like, "I found you in this," and he tells him, just like, I had this key and stuff, and then he kind of just turns around, and then Clark says, "Oh, can't I just be your son?" And he's like, of course you're my son. Like he gets emotional, like hugs him. He's like, you're still my son, but at the same time, he's explaining you need to find out. You know, you've got your own family, you've got your own mother and father. I just love that because obviously later on we see what Superman is and all the history, and like these are building his kind of his characteristics and his it's because up until kind of the midpoint of Man of Steel, like he's finding his way, he's finding his balance really, and these are the kind of the sprinkles his father put in, you know, in his mother as well, like the kind of the righteousness they've put in him to be who he's supposed to be, kind of thing. And it's just a spoilers, right? I think all my 5 are father-son moments. So yeah, this is just one of them. People don't often mention this one. So there's obviously another scene with Kevin Costner dies. Spoilers, but this is the one in particular because like I think Kevin Costner's voice breaks. Like, of course you're my son. I just really like it. So yeah, that's my number 5.
I just wanted to point out something. Apparently, it's very easy to make me cry. Just ask my mother.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
Thanks, Mom.
We'll see today.
Is your mom watching?
Yeah, apparently she is.
Hi.
Aw. Hi, Mama 50.
I'm his mom. So what's your number 5?
So my number 5 is I of course as a band kid I have to choose a band movie, so I chose Mr. Holland's Opus and that his students playing his opus at the end of the movie. So this is a man who he went into teaching kind of as like he didn't want to teach, but it was like I have to do something, I have to get a job, so this is like I'm just doing it just cuz kind of thing. And what he really wanted to do was write music, and he's been working on his opus for years, like decades go by, and he's been working on this piece of music. And just like the emotion that the music is being played by all of his former students sitting there playing as the music program is being taken away from the school because they don't have the funding for it. And so they all get together to kind of like say goodbye to this man who's dedicated his entire life to teaching and put his own dreams on the back burner for his students. And you get to actually like see his music be performed by his students, and it's a very emotional thing. And definitely like as a band kid, when my band director he retired because of he had Huntington's disease, and all of his former and current students played for him, kind of thing. And so it became an even a more emotional moment after like that happened with a band director of mine. But yeah, it's a definitely tearjerker moment.
What movie is this?
This is Mr. Holland's Opus.
That is a great movie, by the way. I really like that movie. Wow.
I don't think I've ever seen it. I apologize.
I haven't, no.
It's definitely a band kid film. I have to go check and see if Colin has seen it.
I kind of wish Matt was here right now. He could talk about it. I'm sure he's probably seen it by now.
Yeah. I've always find a way to have a resident band kid that's not just me on the shows that I'm on. Matt is my band kid for Get Sweaty. Colin is my band kid for Pop Culture Universe and for the Ultimate Showdown After Show. So it's like I randomly find other band kids to do shows with me.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to have.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 5. I think it's what got Robin Williams' Oscar. It's not your fault scene. From Good Will
Punch.
Hunting.
Punt.
I had a feeling.
I should have known you were going for that one.
Really? Okay.
Okay.
What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Yondu's Funeral from Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Okay, nice.
And the main reason for that is that one time I had a really, 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 really bad day. Obviously, all of us have really bad days every once in a while, but that one was a particular one. And I was really down on myself, and I was down on my luck. And then this song, Father and Son, it came on the radio. And I think it might have been the first time I ever heard that song. And it was such a beautiful song. And first of all, the lyrics and the message, and knowing the father and son connection in that song. Obviously, it's in the name of the song, but um, the it was a very emotional song. And it just really brightened my day. It made me feel better and made me completely forget why I was so down on myself that day. So much so to the point where I don't even remember why I was feeling bad that day to begin with. That's how powerful this song is. And when I heard that song in the movie, obviously with the context of the movie of Star Lord losing his father figure after meeting his biological father, and he had all these and basically at the beginning of the movie he was a little bit a little bit of a conflict with Sylvester Stallone's character, and by the end they kind of welcomed him back into the fold, and they became one of the group again, and they had this massive funeral for him where all the Ravagers from all people who haven't talked to him in years, like his friends who just sort of forgotten about him until until his death, obviously. And they had this big fireworks section, and Gamora and Star-Lord were holding hands, and I don't know, it was a beautiful moment in the theaters. It was one of the reasons why at first I thought this movie was better than the first movie, Guardians of the Galaxy, but after sleeping on it, I decided it was a beautiful movie, especially that moment was the highlight, but not as good as the previous one. And putting that song in there is definitely one of the highlights of the movie, and I cannot watch that scene without crying. And even my mom was in the chat right now. I took her to see the movie after I saw it, and we both cried together watching that scene. So it was a really beautiful moment for both of us.
I love that.
Because it's like a redemption for him as well, because he has that to and fro relationship with Star Lord. Like obviously he's like one scene they're literally trying to kill each other, next scene they kind of he's always got that soft spot for him as well, so always helping him out, and like he is basically his father, right? You learn that by the end. So yes, definitely a sweet scene. But what did you think of my Superman pick?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, I don't know if you saw, but I almost got teared up.
No, I didn't.
I saw it.
I didn't.
I was just like, Bogz has already completed his goal.
I had no idea.
That's
I do that sometimes. Yeah, like sorry, like I was speaking to Sol about this yesterday. I don't notice other people when because I'm looking at notes, I'm looking at private chat, I'm looking at other stuff. Like I don't notice other people. I need to learn that. I need to get better at that. But yeah, so nearly there. We're nearly there.
Also, just wanted to say, the girl that was in the house with her mother, the girl was Lana Lang. Just wanted to point that out. Schmodown.
There you go.
Okay.
50, you need to get into this IG, get into the Schmodown, get into IG, because you're so good at it.
I'm working on it. I'm not at that level yet. And obviously, for those of you who saw my debut match in the fan leagues, a couple categories that I'm a little less good at. But for the most part, I got pretty good handle at what the IG used to be before they added all the new categories.
Sounds like Chandru, right? Yeah, no, send it me. I haven't seen it.
Don't compare me to Chandru.
See, over here, Bogz and I got Chandru love. So, like, you could be
okay.
over there
Oh,
without
yeah.
the Chandru love. We have Chandru love.
That's it.
Okay.
But no, send me your fan league match. I haven't seen it. So.
550.
Wow.
Bogz, what's your number 4?
Oh yeah. Okay. So my number 4. Okay. So I'm assuming this isn't going to be on anyone's list. It's the end fight scene in Creed. No one.
Ooh. It
Yeah.
would have been on Matt's list if he was here.
Okay.
No,
Right.
it's not.
Yeah. So basically, up until the end fight scene, I liked the movie. I love Rocky. So I didn't find it at that level. I thought it was good. It was obviously a new iteration of the whole franchise from Adonis Creed's perspective. Tessa Thompson was good and Rocky, and I did like it. I just wasn't in love with it up until this end fight scene. And by the way, the guy he fights there is a real life pro world champion. He's just retired like this last year. He's a British guy from Liverpool. Team Tony Bellew. So yeah, like I knew him obviously from I've watched his whole career basically. So yeah, seeing him fight him, and he kind of gets so in the end fight scene, obviously Adonis takes a bit of a beating, he gets knocked down, and it's these moments when he gets knocked down. Obviously, it's in slow motion as they do it. He gets knocked down, and when he hits the canvas, he starts getting flashback scenes. So it goes 1, and then he sees Rocky in, I think he's in, because he gets cancer in the movie. So 1, he's in hospital, and then 2, as in the refs count, right? So 2 is he sees Tessa Thompson in his home. Then 3, he sees his mother, his stepmother, and then 4, he sees Apollo Creed in the ring against Rocky, and then that's when he wakes up, and then he kind of survives the round, then the last part of the round. Then the bell rings, so he has to go to the corner. So sorry, that's the 11th round. So the last round, Rocky gives him that kind of a call to action speech where he says, I'm going to stop the fight, and then Apollo's like, no, I have to prove. Adonis is saying I have to prove myself. Because he's just recently adopted the name Creed as well, because he was a bit ashamed of it, he was a bit embarrassed of it, because he couldn't live up to his father. So he's now fighting for fighting for his respect within himself, and obviously the wider community as well. And then Rocky says, okay, so I'm going to let it continue, but you have to knock him out, or you have to knock him out. And then he's like, I know you're going to do it because you are a Creed. He's like, I never got to say this to your father, but I loved him. And he's like, he made me a better man and a fighter. And I was like, oh, damn. And then he stands up. And then from there until they shake hands, like the touch gloves, you do not hear the original Rocky theme music until he stands up and then, and it's like, oh, like you literally, the hairs on the back of your neck are standing up, because I'm a big boxing fan. And just seeing him against obviously this current real life world champion. He's talking about his father. He's getting flashbacks. Rocky's there. Rocky's ill. He's like saying, I need you to fight with me after, because he's got cancer. He's like, I'm going to fight this. I need you to fight with me. Are you ready? He's like, yeah. I was like, then you hear the Rocky music. So yeah, it's a super emotional moment. And then he kind of gets the knockdown. I think he still loses, but yes, it's just that all of a sudden, like I thought it was okay movie. And then it just turns into this emotional, great movie for like 5 or 10 minutes. So yes, definitely. I did cry at that moment. All these moments I have legit cried under. So whether it's in a theater, one of them I've watched on a plane, which I'll come to, but yeah, like super emotional scene. And I love boxing, so it all kind of ties together for me.
So let me ask you, where do you put Creed on your ranking? Is it close to the top of the Rocky movies?
You're gonna have to say that again for me, sorry.
Where do you put Creed on the Rocky?
The rankings, I've never actually thought of that. So I don't know. I'd probably, I don't know. I really don't know. I'd say maybe second to the original Rocky, maybe. But that's just off the top of my head, to be honest. I've never given it that much thought because I do love that whole franchise. Even 5, I love Rocky 5. I don't know. Is the honest answer.
You
just have to bring Bogz later, yeah, for him and Matt to do a Rocky thing.
Yeah,
sure. Why not?
Top 5 Rocky movies, just the 2 of them.
Yeah.
I'll knock him out. No, I'm just
Bogz, I gotta ask you a question. Are you a Doctor Who fan by any chance?
I'm not. No. Never seen a full episode.
What you described to me sounded like when the 4th Doctor regenerated back in '81, where he knew he was going to die for spoiler reasons I can't talk to about the 40-year-old episode of a TV show, but he knew he was going to die, and when the moment came, he was hanging from a long cable from the top of an electrical tower, and as he was falling, he saw flashbacks to all the friends that were with him on the journey. Sorry, that was sounded for a second there. All the friends that were with him on his journey, like giving him one final goodbye. And then they they remade that moment in the more modern stuff when Peter Capaldi regenerated, sort of. But yeah, that was basically what was going through my mind when you mentioned that. Even though I didn't watch the movie, I only just watched the first Rocky like last week, and that was mostly because Matt almost forced my hand to do that. But yeah, I can still relate, even though I haven't seen the actual movie you're talking about.
Oh yeah, it's all father. Sorry, it's all father son stuff. You know, it's all a little bit master and apprentice with Rocky. He calls Rocky uncle as well, which is really sweet. Yeah, and obviously, you know, his wife's, his girlfriend's there ringside, and yeah, he's trying to live up to his father. All these kind of things that you can definitely identify with. So yes, definitely I recommend. Even if you haven't seen all the other Rockies, you can still watch Creed and be like, oh my god, this is lovely. So yeah.
And just with sports films and stuff, and I was like looking at my list, and I was like surprised I didn't put a sports film on, because sports are emotional, and just when you're watching the sports films, like I probably cried at a bunch, and now it was just making me think, oh, I need to put this one movie in my honorable mentions, because I just thought about it. So a little teaser for later.
Nice.
So what's your number 4?
My number 4 is from the movie The Fault in Our Stars, which, of course, I have to pick a movie with 2 kids with cancer. And so I specifically, and this is spoiler for the movies for those who haven't seen, is so these 2 kids, like, they decided that since they knew that they would eventually die, they wanted to write a eulogy for each other. And like kind of be like, I promise that I'll read it at your funeral, whoever passes away first. And the whole time you're watching the movie, you think it's going to be Hazel, the girl who dies first, because she's has way more medical problems. She's on like oxygen mask and everything, and she's much weaker, where like Augustus is in remission pretty much. Like he doesn't have a leg, he lost one of his legs to cancer, but he's pretty much in remission. And then you find out later in the movie that actually like it came back, and it's like all over, like full body cancer. And so he actually passes away first, which you don't expect watching the movie. But he ended up writing the eulogy. And so like right after his funeral, the author that they went to go visit in the Netherlands, like earlier in the movie, hands her a letter, and it's the eulogy he wrote for her. And like you're kind of like, from a moment of like someone who loves someone so much who's no longer living, writing something for when you're going to die. And it's just like you're listening to the eulogy as she's reading it, like you have like the voiceover of her reading it, like of him reading it, and it's just tears.
Yeah, you're not kidding. You're making me.
Okay, emotional list. Cancer movie, check. Boxing movie, also check. Superman movie, also check. We're checking all the boxes, guys.
Right? Ben, what's your 4?
How do I top that?
You can, but still, give it a try.
I'm gonna try it. I wish. Okay, it's in the movie Hook. It's that scene where the children come home. It gets me every time, and the mother has been like awake all night waiting for them to come home. She refuses to go to sleep if she did. The kids go home, they sleep in bed, she realizes they came back, and it gets so emotional. I know it doesn't really count, but I get emotional every time I watch this scene.
Hey, no judgments here on what makes people emotional. There's scenes that like hit people just for different reasons. So I think it's a good pick, Ben. I like it.
Yeah, I love Hook. Yeah, I expect, like, of course, when they come back with it with the whole family, because you know the journey that Robin Hood's been on, getting closer to his kids. Sorry, who did I say?
You said Robin Hood.
Yeah, Robin Williams. Getting closer, with his kids, and the journey that he's been on, learning, getting his powers back, basically. And so such a sweet movie. And me and Sol did our top Christmas movies, Christmas time. I think that was my 3 for Christmas, all-time Christmas movie. So I love Hook. Grew up on it, so great pick.
Yeah.
So, Fishing, what's your number 4?
Right back. I need a prop for this because you know me. I always have a few useful props on hand. Probably should have done this earlier, but didn't think about it. Okay, everybody ready?
I'm ready.
We are Groot.
Oh.
I knew I would have this kind of response from you guys. How they were able to make a character who only says his name, kind of like a Pokemon, have such an emotional impact on people, and we're basically watching a sentient tree die, and we're still all in tears. And the entire movie, I mean, even if you read the comics and if you've seen Groot on his very few TV show appearances, you know he only ever says, "I am Groot." That's the only thing he can say. And then James Gunn does a wonderful job of setting it up, even for people who aren't familiar with the character. And he just goes and says, "We are Groot," instead of "I am Groot." This one simple change in the character's catchphrase does all the difference. And I don't know, it's one of the greatest. I mean, I can basically make a top 5 list just with MCU movies. Like, seriously, yeah, I know Bogz left not right now because he doesn't like my pick, apparently. But basically, I can basically do a top 20 list. But I went with 5 and a few honorable mentions because, them's the rules.
That I didn't even think about that scene, and that is such an emotional scene. And now I'm just like, oh man, I didn't even think about it. And yeah, we are Groot, definitely. That's such a good pick.
There's two. Is that the same scene where Peter sees his mother in a flashback?
No, it was before that. That was when they all touched the Infinity Stone.
Okay.
When they were falling from the ship, and Groot kind of realizes that the only way to save his family, is just by sacrificing himself.
Right, okay, yeah.
We are Groot.
We are Groot. Also, by the way, I don't know if my mom is still watching, but I actually bought this for her on one of her birthdays.
Aww.
And she decided to keep it with me because she knew I would look after it. I am Groot. Okay, thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mom. I am Groot. But, yeah, she decided that's. I said. By the way, these are the only 3 hot toys that I own. I bought this one for my mom's birthday. I bought one for my own birthday of Doctor Strange, and I bought one for my mom's husband of Superman. All 3 of them are in my place for some reason because my home is where all the action figures go.
Which Superman do you have?
I'll show you. From the first Superman movie, and you can't get these anymore. The fact that I still have these, it's astounding to me. I mean, you can only find the one from Superman 3 when he's kind of disheveled and unshaven with the kryptonite. No, that's for this one. The one from Superman 3 when he basically goes emo Clark. Emo Spider-Man before emo Spider-Man.
You're right.
Bogz, what's your number 3?
Love you, Mom.
There you go. Question for you though, 50. Why do you sit so far from your camera? Just out of interest.
My camera is on top of my television.
Right.
That's just the setup because I'm in the living room.
Okay. So it's not on top of your
he just
laptop
wants
or
to
computer.
like
On your
chill on his
television.
couch, like.
Just interesting setup. So my 3. So this is where I took it out just before we start, like my actual 3, but I've put this one in. It's actually Aladdin. Yeah, so it's when Aladdin gives Genie his freedom.
That's my number 3.
It's your number 3.
Yeah, we can talk about it because it's both number 3.
Nice, good pick. So basically just the point of the movie is Jasmine is and Aladdin are talking about about they can't get married because he's not a prince now. This is right at the end after Jafar's gone, and then kind of Genie interrupts and says, "Oh, you got one more wish," and then Aladdin turns to Jasmine and basically says, "Oh, I can't keep lying," because throughout the movie, throughout the whole journey he's been on, he's he's used all his tricks, that he's got up his sleeve, and obviously he's used the genie and he's lied about being Prince Ali and stuff. So he's got all the way there, and now he's kind of learned his lessons and said, "No, I can't lie anymore. I have to be who I am." So, and then face the consequences, and be a man basically. And then as he's as Genie's warming up, okay, one more wish coming right up, and he goes, "Genie." I'm talking about the animated version, by the way. I'll come to the live action one in a second. But yeah, he goes, "Genie, you're free." And yeah, he kind of can't believe it, and his shackles come off. And just the music, it's because it's a whole new world, and it plays like a lullaby. Like you can't even. It's so like slowed down, all whilst this is happening, and you're just like, oh, it's such a sweet moment. And yeah, and his shackles come off, and then he kind of Genie's super excited. And then he's like, "I'm going to see the world. I'm going to do it." And then he stops and he sees like Aladdin, looking all handsome, like playing with his hair, like, all like he's going to miss his friend. He's going to miss his brother. Like, so, yeah. And they obviously have an embrace. He goes, "You'll always be a prince to me." And yeah, it's just super sweet moment where they've kind of learned from throughout the whole journey they've been on. Genie saved him again, tried to save from dying, tried to help him with, just with life basically. And then, he returns the favor by freeing him. I did like they did do it in the live action one, but it wasn't as epic. I didn't feel it was just like I just felt it was too quick, and because I was looking forward to that moment. And yeah, that was the one kind of scene that I was like, oh, I wish they spent a bit more time with that. But this is absolutely epic moment. And when you guys did your top 5 Disney songs, like I maybe would have picked that to do if you guys didn't already do it, because the Lea Salonga, I don't know if you guys know who that is. She's the singing voice of Jasmine. She's also singing voice of Mulan. She is my mother's maybe all-time favorite singer. She was in the original, she was like the original kind of Broadway and West End run of Les Mis and of Miss Saigon. And she's absolutely beautiful Filipino lady, and she's just a staple in my family. Like we've just grown up around her music, and just that song and like these themes and stuff. It's just lovely stuff. And yeah, especially Aladdin obviously being a Middle Eastern story. That's something that me and my family we identify with and stuff. So yes, definitely just a lovely moment. One of my best kind of moments in all cinema, especially in Disney. So yeah. But you got the same Disney, right? Disney 50, right?
Yeah, that was my number 3, and boy, do I wish Mac was here, because he loves Robin Williams.
Okay.
I know he would have gotten emotional
when you see it now. It's like it's even more because the vocal performance that he does is so sweet, and like him and Aladdin, the guy who does Aladdin, I forgot his name, but just them two, that's the way they bond, and like I said, the whole new world is playing in the background. And yeah, it's just the temple, the palace in the back. It's just such a sweet thing, man. And it's like, yeah, it's like that's why I put Aladdin right on top of my list for these kind of moments what other Disney movies don't give me.
I just want to say that Bogz achieved once again by making 50 cry.
I didn't see. I can't see. Oh, okay. I'll take your word for it.
I was going like this.
Oh, I'm looking at my notes, to be honest with you. So I didn't see it as I was speaking. And then I dropped it afterwards. So I didn't see it. If that counts, I didn't see it. So.
You guys are you're starting to make my camel cry.
I need to point something out. This is guys number 3, and I believe it is a certain time so far Robin Williams has come up on the show. That just shows you what kind of actor he is.
Okay.
100%.
That's good.
Wait, Aladdin, Hook. What was the third one?
We didn't really get into it yet, but my number 5.
Well, yeah, his number 5, my number 3, which was the punt, which is the It's Not Your Fault from Good Will Hunting. And you just have Robin Williams saying over and over again, "It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault." And you get, "I know." He's like, "It's not your fault. I know it's not your fault." And it's one of those where you have moments in your life that you're just like, it's not your fault, but you still hold that baggage and you still put some blame on yourself. And then you just need to hear it from another person that it's not your fault. And you need to hear, and that just like, I rewatched it again today, just that scene, and I was crying this morning. So it was one of those like, yep, nope, this 100% is going to be on my list when I was watching it. I was watching sad moments this morning, guys. It was like, why am I
What
making
way to
myself
make a
cry
movie.
this morning, right?
Yeah.
For this, so my crying happened before this. I'm not gonna cry on. I'll leave that to 50 that
Yeah.
way.
I just gotta point out something. I think I owe Ben an apology. When you said it's not your fault, I thought you meant the moment from Logan. I apologize for that. I wasn't listening.
Oh, no, well, that
So
might
what's
be
your five?
coming up.
It might still come up, but
It
I
might still come up.
didn't think it was your number 5. I apologize.
Yeah, but you had this as your number 5, Ben. Your thoughts on that scene?
I mean, I just echo everything you said. I mean, it's a beautiful scene between these two actors. It's so simple, yet it means so much. You see Matt Damon's range from how the shoot started to where it ends up. It gets me every time, and you see what kind of powerhouse Robert Williams it was. And it just makes you even more sad that he's gone and not with us anymore.
Yeah.
He was so unique, so genuine, it is amazing.
Yeah,
And
and this is like how kind of with him especially, like how loud and vibrant he is. This is the complete opposite. This scene is he's just subtly just being the parental father figure that he's never had. And yeah, he's reassuring him, and obviously Matt Damon puts his whole front on like some hard man front, you know, pushing everyone away, fighting all the time, pushing uh what's the name, Driver, forgot her first name, Mini Driver, right? Mini Driver away his girlfriend. Yeah, has his front on all the time, and yeah, he kind of breaks down that barrier, and it's all a defense mechanism. And he just kind of broke that wall down, and yeah, awesome scene. Yeah, great pick.
Then your number
so
3, Ben.
my number 3 is the death of Sirius Black from Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix. Man, this scene gets me every time. Harry finally finds somebody he wants to go live with. He has hope. And for him to die so instantly, so rapidly, it's so heartbreaking. Because up until that point, Harry is living with his aunt and uncle who, let's say they're not pleasant with him, putting it mildly. So
Yeah.
you have a great act.
Credit.
What?
You're giving them way too much credit.
Right.
Okay.
They're dicks. Let's just put it out there. They're total dicks to the poor kid.
I wasn't going to go there, but yes, you're right, Fifi, as always. Um, but Jimmy Black is one of my favorite Harry Potter characters because from going back and watching him from the prisoner of Azkaban to where he ends up, you just can't help but see how much love he has for this one boy and what he goes through. Then you go and see him in book 3, movie 3. And that's amazing. And for him to die so instantly, yeah, it breaks me every time.
And you
That's
have,
why,
from Harry's perspective too, like he lost his parents as a baby, so he doesn't have any, like he doesn't remember his parents, and then his aunt and uncle, like 50 said, are total dicks to him. So he doesn't have that really father figure until Sirius Black comes into the picture. And he's so worried about Sirius, and he has so much love for Sirius, and Sirius has loves for him as well. And then he watches Sirius die in front of him. And after that happens, like he's about to use the killing curse on Bellatrix Lestrange for killing Sirius. Like, he's about to go to the dark side and go after the person who killed what he views as his father now, his godfather, and he doesn't do it. He decides to be good. He decides to be Luke Skywalker and throw his lightsaber instead of killing his father. Yeah.
It is a beautiful moment.
The Harry Potter franchise in general, not so much the Fantastic Beasts, but the Harry Potter franchise is loaded with tragic Shakespearean characters, and Sirius Black is just one of them. And even when you read the death of Sirius Black in the book, where they didn't specifically use Avada Kedavra on him, they just use a different jinx. I think he was stupefied, but he gets knocked back and he falls into that big structure at the middle of the room, which almost served no purpose in the movie, but in the books it has much more of a focus. He falls into it, and Harry doesn't know that if you go through that thing, you die. So he's standing there, he waits for Sirius to come back out of it, and he doesn't come back. And it takes a while until both the reader and Harry realize that he ain't never coming back. And also, going back to, like I said, Prisoner of Azkaban, again, if you have to read the book, when he's trying to summon his Patronus to save himself and Sirius from the Dementors, the happy thought that he thinks of is him going to live with Sirius Black. He says to himself, everything is going to be fine. I'm going to live with Sirius from now. And the Patronus is just not powerful enough until, obviously, he travels back in time and uses a different Patronus, thinking of his parents.
Yeah. And it gets me every time.
Yeah.
So we already had your number 3, right? It was the Aladdin thing, right?
Yeah.
So, Bogz, you're number 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 2, Bob.
Yes, my number 2 is It's a Wonderful Life, basically. It's the end scene in It's a Wonderful Life. So another kind of Christmas theme movie, and it's just basically, obviously, if you haven't seen it, it's I will kind of spoil it a little bit. So I don't think, Sol, you've seen it, right? You haven't.
No, I have not.
Yeah, I bought this. Say again, sorry.
It's an 80-year-old movie.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I think you have to watch it. It's definitely a unique watch, because it's one of the best movies of all time. And I think I voted this as my number 1 Christmas movie. That basically he gets the wish to see what his life is like without him. He tries to kill himself, and the kind of angel comes to save him. And then he basically asks God to, what does his life be if he wasn't there? And because he thinks he has no impact on anyone, or that kind of thing, but really it's he saves his whole town on multiple occasions throughout his life. He's got a family, he's got kids, and then he kind of goes through all that, and then at the end he wishes for his life back, and he's asking God to please let me live again, basically. And then it kind of switches around, and everyone, because no one recognizes him, he has to go through, a lot of people in his life have died, or it's like he's almost like an imaginary person throughout the movie. And then it kind of reverses, and he has a scene earlier on in the movie where he falls out or he has a massive argument with his family, with his kids, and he shouts at them, he gets physical with them and his wife. This is kind of before he gets his wish. So now that it's been kind of snapped away, it's just such a lovely scene where he embraces his family again, and there's kind of tax collectors to come and kind of order court judgments against him, and then kind of the whole community just comes and saves him with their donations and stuff, and by the Christmas tree, and they all start singing because it's Christmas, and his brother comes back from war, and it's just an awesome, lovely scene. And they buy a piano, they start playing on the piano, and like, I've watched this with my family. I'm 8-year-old movie, and I've cried at this movie with my family around it. Like, such a lovely movie. The end part when Clarence gets his wings and there's a little bell, and he kind of winks and stuff. Yeah, it's such a lovely moment where he's been through all this, throughout his, because it shows flashbacks, and he's got the most horrible, evil villain, Mr. Potter. I'll never forget him. And even he kind of comes around in the end. And it's such just a lovely tale just about what your impact is on other people's lives, what you don't might even realize, whether that's family, whether that's friends, the community. You do have an impact, and you do have a kind of say, and you do matter, basically. And yeah, he gives his friend a salute, the Clarence character, and yeah, it's just a lovely all-around movie. It's a definite must-watch. So you definitely need to watch it.
I will eventually, maybe like, I know that Video Drew does this with Alex Shawshank of like cinema bias, but maybe we need to like do like a behind the scenes, not videoed, like cinema bias where we make Bogz watch Harry Potter and I'll watch It's a Wonderful
No deal.
Life.
No deal. Yeah, we can do that. I don't like Harry Potter anymore.
It's definitely one of those movies and moments that make you realize, look at yourself and how important you are to other people, and look at all the lives you've touched. And look at how they would be different if they never met you.
100%.
Exactly.
I can always get
So
behind
what's
that
your
kind of
number
thing.
2?
My number 2 is from Call Me By Your Name. And originally, I was going to do the last scene with Elio crying like in front of the fireplace. But then I was like, wait, the scene with Michael Stuhlbarg, the scene with his father, that is so emotional. I pretty much just tear up each time because like it's really, the father's going, first accepts him for who he is and basically tells him you are good. And that's something too that like having a parental figure that is allowing of like his kid to be who he is in his sexuality, that is so important. And then you have just like some of the things goes, we rip out so much of ourselves to cure ourselves faster that we go bankrupt by the age of 30. And then like, don't hold yourself back, and our hearts and our bodies are only given to us once. And he's basically saying that the pain you're feeling now is legitimate. Don't get rid of this pain. Don't basically smother it down to where then you're going to be less human, less of a person going forward because you don't want to deal with this massive pain and loss. And so it's very much of a, we all are going to experience loss in our life and heartbreak, and that you need to feel it completely to then go forward as a human. And so it's such an emotional scene. It's such a good moment, a father-son moment. It's a father being completely accepting of his son. And yeah, I love that scene. I love that movie.
Yeah.
I've not seen it, to be honest.
I haven't seen
I don't think I've
it
seen
either.
any of yours, so thinking about it.
And that's a movie with Armie Hammer, right? Or
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Timothy Chalamet and Armie Hammer.
All right, yeah. It's been on my list. I have to see it.
It's so good, guys. Like, it deserved the accolations that it got from everyone. Yeah, super good.
Just
Okay.
to bring my mom back into the conversation, we always watch these movies and TV shows together where character A comes out as a homosexual, and their parents just go, you're not my kid anymore. I don't want you in my house anymore." And my mom she can't understand how can a person say that to their own flesh and blood. And the fact that there's a scene like this in a movie where the parents accept their child for who they are is definitely a beautiful thing. And we need to be more accepting of people in general, but family members more specifically.
100%.
Agreed.
So your
Okay,
number 2, Ben?
my number 2 is the snapping from Infinity War. In particular, it's Peter Parker saying, "I don't want to go, Mr. Stark."
Mr. Stark.
It gets me every freaking time. And it's funny because seeing it the first time, I already knew, okay, all these people, they're going to come back next year. And of course, they're going to come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it gets me every freaking time. Tom Holland's performance is amazing in that one scene. The expression Robert Downey gives, yeah, it gets me. And for once, we have an MCU villain. Well, yeah, we have an MCU villain on a mission who actually get gets what he wants. He gets his mission. And yeah, it infects me every time.
And just credit to Tom Holland that he improvised that line.
Yeah,
Like,
I was
I
gonna
don't want to
mention
go, I
that.
don't want to go, I don't want to go.
And also credit to Robert Downey Jr. for going along with it.
Yeah.
That wasn't the first time they did this. They did it in Homecoming, where where Downey Jr. just opened the door and Tom Holland was like, "Oh, I got a hug him. It'll look more authentic if I do." And then Downey was like, he was playing up the scene. He was like, "No, this is not a hug. I'm just opening the door." And they kept it in the movie. So these two actors just work so well together. And
I love
yeah.
having accidents like that. There's so many times where things weren't meant to be. Like, the thing I remember completely is like the Joker and the like hospital blowing up, and then like it was supposed to just blow up and him continuing walking, but like it didn't go off at the right time, and he just stayed in character with that scene, and that scene is just so much the better for it. So I love those happy accidents in movies.
There's one where DiCaprio cuts his hand in Django, right?
Yeah.
That was complete accident. They just carried on filming basically because it was just a good moment. But yeah, like that scene, of course, that scene is absolutely electric, especially where like I like how Tony Stark was like he had his hands on his chest, and then as soon as he disappears, like he like scratches the ground as if like, oh, like where's he gone, and the dust is all there and stuff. So yeah, because the whole time as that's happening, it's like you have a quick flash through of Homecoming, like, and just their relationship in it, like the father son thing. So yeah, it's definitely a lovely moment. Yeah, no doubt.
Look at us and all of our pseudo father, pseudo son moments.
Yeah, they get me every time. But no, I'm so shocked that 50 had that as his 3, like the same Aladdin moment. I just put it on last minute because that was going to be an honorable mention. So
that was one of my firsts.
Nice, good.
I had my number 1, 2, and 3 just as soon as I heard the topic.
Oh, okay, interesting.
I think I know your number 2, but 50, what's your number 2?
Tale as old as time.
Really?
Would you like to carry on?
No, but
Yes, it can be.
I actually listened to that too. Do you know who Brian McKnight is? By any chance, anyone?
Yeah.
R&B
Yeah.
singer.
Yeah.
He's covered that with Celine Dion a few times. I actually listened to that today, the Tale as Old as Time thing. So yeah, that was a bit weird that you said that. But yeah, no. What is your actual pick though? The dance hall scene?
The moment where that song actually is played in the movie, where the Beast is all dressed up and nice, and Belle has her wonderful yellow dress, and they just dance together, and the teapot is singing the song. And then, by the way, one of the first few examples of CGI in animated movies. Just wanted to point that out. But that whole ballroom dance scene and how they also integrated it into the live action version, that was the one moment I was most looking forward to. That was the one moment I was saving. I was saving my tears for a full year. Like, I tried my best not to cry in the trailers because I was saving my tears for the movie, and it did not disappoint me in any case. And I also loved how Disney. You can tell that it's Disney considered this moment to be one of their crowning achievements because they keep going back to it, even in Once Upon a Time, and with Rumpelstiltskin and Belle. They did it a number of times on the show, and that song kind of became their signature theme song a number of times. And just the whole idea of no matter what you look like on the outside, you can always find someone who loves you for who you are on the inside. Unless you're me, of course, but that's a different conversation altogether. But I just
In
I love
particular, oh,
it's
I can
it's
hear now.
it's a very good it's a great love story and my second favorite Disney movie of all time.
Yeah, in particular the oh, very loud echo. You know that the actual ballroom, how it looks, the CG, like you said. Even now, you can say, "Wow, like how do they get that so detailed and grand?" Basically, but yeah, like Angela Lansbury, obviously, is playing the kind of kettle and the cup. Yeah, they're really sweet, and yeah, just the lyrics always stand out to me. The yeah, just the lyrics of the song. Yeah, both a little scared, you know, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
because it's not a long song, right? It's just like one chorus. That's basically the song. So it just kind of goes over and over again. But yeah, it's so sweet. Yeah, and it just kind of yeah, it just makes it more epic. And yeah, lovely, lovely, lovely kind of scene and great pick.
And it's just another like timeless Disney song. It's like you
It was all
can,
this time.
yeah, Tales all this time. You can listen to this song anytime you want to sing along to it. You want to. It's part
When
of
I listened to that
the
song
Disney
today, I was out running. I was out for a jog, and I put Brian McKnight, Celine Dion, yeah, Taylor all the time. I swear, I just put a few Brian McKnight
You
songs
ran
on.
to that.
Yeah,
That's funny.
It's so stupid, but yeah, no, I did. Generally, that's not a lie.
By the way, Boggs, I gotta do a quick plug here. I did a couple of years ago. I did a remake with that song, but after critically acclaimed, the Schmodown team split up with
Okay.
Bibiani and Whitney Saiwa. I'll send it to you later.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Sounds good.
It was great.
The Beauty and the Beast were splitting up.
Of course.
Taylor's all this time.
Nice. Has he seen it?
I think he might. I think he kind of watched a few of them videos I made on the Facebook channel. I don't think he watched that one, but he
I
might
think
have.
Christian did, right? Christian saw that one.
That one, I'm not sure Christian did, but
Yeah.
a lot of people did, and a lot of people told me to send it to Bibbs.
Look forward to it.
Now we go into our honorable mentions. So, Bogz,
okay.
you got any?
Yes, of course. I hope I don't give anyone's one. Well, let me just write them down one sec. Okay, so I got a few. So my what I was gonna have in my 6 and 7 in effect. The end scene in the very end kind of scene in Toy Story 3.
So long, partner.
I have that in my honorable mentions too.
Okay. As long as it's not your one, because I feel bad if it's the one. Another one was Return of the Jedi. That was really wanted to put that as 5. The end scene with Luke and Vader, you know, talking to his father, like telling him he's already saved me. Yeah, exactly. And then carrying him through the Death Star, and like no one caring. Like obviously it's about to blow up, but like the kind of just no one cares about how what Vader's situated, and he's dragging him. Yeah, it's just really sweet. But what else have I got? I got Cap lifting the hammer in Endgame.
Yeah.
Interstellar, where he sees Murphy's daughter right at the end when she's older than him, when she's in her 90s and she's got her family, and yeah, she's an old lady, and obviously he's missed all her life basically. What else have I got? The first 10 minutes of Up, like that, you know, where she stumbles. Yeah, it's like on the stairs. Oh no, don't do that. I got the girl in the red coat in Schindler's List. That's all. Just seeing that scene when she's walking up and down. Yeah, it just because you know what's coming. So I actually put Karate Kid, where LaRusso beats. Yeah. Just for some reason when it does, and then the crowd goes wild, and then Miyagi does like a nod at the end, and then it just immediately finishes. Yeah, it's just I quite like that. And yeah, that was I actually put Karate Kid 3 as well. Weirdly, when he's fighting Mike Barnes and he can't get a point, and the other guy's like teasing him. He keeps getting kind of a point knocked off just to keep him in the fight, and he's like, "Oh, Mr. Miyagi, I'm scared." He's like, "No, Daniel-san, it's okay to lose tournament, but don't give in to fear. Now go and fight." And he kind of gets a point and win. I just love that like Yoda moment almost. Yeah, that was really sweet. Yeah, they're my honorables.
Mr. Miyodi.
Very good. So what's your honorable mention?
So I will go to with the Toy Story 3, Andy giving the toys away. That's definitely like, as someone who was a child when the first Toy Story movie came on, and like going into an adulthood as the third Toy Story movie, it's just like, yep, nope, this movie was for us.
Andy was all of us in that scene, right?
Yeah, 100%. And then another one, I got to bring in another cancer movie. So my sister's keeper, which I actually had to read that book for an ethics class. My degree is in healthcare administration, so we had a medical ethics class, and so that was one of the books we were required to read. And then I watched the movie afterwards, and so sad. Even though like the ending of the book is different from the ending of the movie, still like both endings super sad. And then I also have the beginning montage from Up, and then I have Field of Dreams, him playing catch with his father.
And that's on Matt's honorable mentions too.
Oh, there you go. And Ben, your honorable mentions.
I don't have any, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to read Matt's top 5 and his honorable mentions. His number 5 is Rocky meeting his grandson in Queen 2.
Of course, he has a Rocky. Of course, he's got a Rocky movie on his list.
Yeah. Number 4, Harry's death in Armageddon.
Ooh, wow. Didn't think of that. Wow.
Number 3, the death of Ping Pong.
Ooh, why are you doing this to me, Matt?
That's a good one. Yeah.
I can't watch that movie without knowing that we're going into that scene eventually.
Number 2, Remember Me from Coco.
Oh,
punt.
I had a feeling. Number 1, Tony's death and funeral.
We won, Mr. Stark.
And his honorable mentions, Penny has Alzheimer's in Winter Soldier. Like I just mentioned, his Field of Dreams ending. And his final honorable mention, the end of the circuits. It's a Charlie Chaplin movie, silent movie ending.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that. And we've lost 50 to tears.
I know.
I missed it again. I was looking at Ben, and then all of a sudden.
Attention, Bogz. Okay, so.
Having said that, let's reveal our number 1.
Wait, what are my honorable mentions?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Tiffany. I'm so sorry.
Too excited.
Yeah. What are your honorable mentions?
My honorable mentions: Ash Ketchum turning to stone in the first Pokemon movie. Doesn't make much sense, but it's still a very emotional part of the movie.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be your number 2. I'm shocked I'm not the number 2.
Nope. It was my honorable mention. I see you two guys with your Andy giving away the toys at the end of Toy Story 3, and I'll raise you Buzz being able to fly in Toy Story 1. This isn't flying, this is falling with style. Always gets me. A TV one, which isn't really much of a moment, it's more a song. And it's, I guess I could have saved it for a songs list, but it's Rest Now My Warrior. Sorry, the long song, that's the name of the main song. But if I were to change it from being a song to just an actual moment, is when the 10th Doctor regenerates and he just says, I don't want to go. And another TV one, which was my last one, a very recent one, but I felt like it made enough of an impact that I had to put it on my list. And it's Vision talking to Wanda from the most recent episode of WandaVision. Just in case no one's seen it yet, because it's still pretty recent, it's just Vision talking to Wanda in the most recent episode. If you know the moment, you know the moment, because that's pretty much the only. Well, nope, not gonna spoil. Not gonna spoil it. You should see them. You should see the episode yourself and figure that on your own.
And now we can go into Bogz number 1.
Yeah, Mark, what's your number 1?
My number 1, yeah. So you guys have actually followed it because you guys both mentioned it as honorable mentions. It is Field of Dreams when he plays catch with his father. Yeah, so I only seen this. So I don't like baseball. I'll just be honest. I never saw this movie. I always when I big Kevin Costner fan, but when I saw the cover, the poster, it never appealed to me. It just looked a little almost I don't know, like too much. It looks childish to me for some reason. Just him kind of on a baseball field and like a baseball in the background, and him just standing there, and it just looks weird. But I only watched this because I think the what's Roku show called with that Steve Morris? Cinephiles. Yeah, I think Cinephiles done an episode on it, and I was like, oh, okay, so it's about time I watched this movie before I watched their review. And I watched it, and from the off, I was hooked. I couldn't believe how good this movie is. Like, yeah, I'm so glad I did wait, because I was on the edge of my seat all movie. Like the kind of magical thing that you're in the whole way through. The kind of whispers like that they have in the field and stuff, and you're trying to work out what does this mean, like, and his journey in it, meeting obviously first with his girlfriend initially, build it and they will come, and you're like, what is going off here? Like, what? I don't understand. And and then obviously his relationship with James Earl Jones, and then Burt Lancaster in his final role, and just seeing their journeys as well. Don't want to spoil it if anyone hasn't seen it, but yeah, and then obviously coming to that end scene where he's just because I didn't click on, or like I'm thinking, like I don't know, I'm just guess I'm gullible like that, because even in hindsight at the start of the movie he does that monologue to say, oh, I've never had a relationship with my father, talk to him about he's a World War II veteran, and he just never had a relationship with him, and just being at the end when he turns, I was thinking, who is that? Like, why does it, because you got so many questions still, and it's still not confirmed what's going on, and then it's established, oh my god, it's my dad, and it's like a shock. I was shocked when they done that, and just when he's obviously his wife tells him to introduce him to his granddaughter, he's like, what should I do? And then he doesn't say, you're just dying for them to have that conversation, that father son, saying, I love you. This is your redemption, right? That you can have with your father, that relationship that not everyone will get. Like, you don't have that second chance, and like most people do in life, right? Where he gets his second chance, and they just can't come to face the facts. They can't come to have that conversation and call each other dad or son or whatever. It's like they're playing this standoff game where he introduces his daughter as, this is John. Like, oh, just say it, just say the words, and and then they walk off and they have the handshake, and then when he says it, when he says dad, and then because he shakes his hand and walks off, and then he does like a little panic thing. He's like, dad, and then he turns around. It's just such a sweet. I ugly cried at this when I first saw it, and like this is less than a year ago. Like, I couldn't believe like how emotional it was, and can we just have a catch? And then it's like, yeah, sure, I'd like that. So, and just them doing it and then the kind of movie fades away. But it's such a lovely scene where yes, it's just finally he gets his redemption with his father. He gets that second chance, and it makes you think like, oh, I need to make sure I've built my bridges with my father or my kind of other relationships to because obviously everyone's on their own journey, and it's just like, yeah, that's how, before it's too late. And not only that as well, like obviously each character's kind of walked off into the cornfields and stuff, and either died or gone to heaven, or they're not sure. Even asked him, am I in heaven? And he's like, no, it's Iowa. So yeah, it's a really honestly such a lovely scene, and I've watched that numerous times back, just the scene, not even that whole movie, and I can't not cry at that scene when he says dad. It's because the score's building up and it looks beautiful in on the baseball field, the Field of Dreams, and the kind of sun setting. It's just the right thing just to emotionally manipulate me, and I just fall for a hook, line, and sinker every time. But yeah, one of my favorite scenes of all time.
Bogz, if you build it, they will come.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because he's learning the whole through the movie, like, oh, this means this, and they sends him on little different errands, and he has to meet another person. He sets him on a different kind of mission, but all the time you're thinking, what's the end goal for this? Like, what is this? And then it all obviously to that father moment.
And just like Saul said, sports movies in general are the perfect examples of real human drama. That's what's so appealing about them.
Yeah, they always have to overcome things, and it's always got a personal journey within that. And which you can relate to, whether it's a physical thing or emotional thing. But yeah, I loved how I've kind of dissed that movie for years, all my life, and then seeing this unexpected, wonderful thing from a sport I don't like, yeah, just tick so many boxes, and yeah, I'm
I'm
glad
glad
I've
you watched it.
definitely.
Because unlike Boggs, I am a massive baseball fan. So this is definitely in the pantheon of great baseball movies.
Right. Okay, so what is your number one?
So it was in Matt's honorable mentions. It is Miguel singing Remember Me to Abuelita Coco. And I cry every single time. And I have a niece who watched that movie on repeat. So I was watching this movie over and over and over again and just like tears. Just tears. Because it's, I no longer, all my grandparents are not living anymore. And this is not even his grandmother's, like his great,
Great.
yeah, great grandma. And it's just the, and also my grandmother, she had Alzheimer's too. So it's one of those like, he's singing remember me, like to remember his great grandfather so his great grandfather can survive in the afterlife. And this too, like this movie is important because it does show Latino culture, even though it's not my culture. Like Cubans, we do not celebrate Day of the Dead, but I was like, so like, yes, let's have more movies like this. And so it too was me having more of an understanding of some Mexican culture that like I didn't know because it's not mine, but I could sing along to the Spanish songs and I can have fun watching it. And then like Disney doing what Disney does and gut punching right at the end, like with making sure like, yep, you're gonna have some tears here. Like just start crying. That's what we want you to do.
Don't deny it. Embrace it.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome
Great.
scene. Loved it. Love love all the music in that scene. But yeah, obviously culminates in that. But yeah, because you're wondering what. Yeah, you want to see kind of more from her grandmother. I feel like in the whole movie, and then you get it at the end. And yeah, I just love every iteration of that song, whether it's the end credit song or that's they singing it, or earlier in the movie with the kids and stuff. Yeah, it's awesome.
Mm. And you get so many moments of that song where you get it in a happy way and you get it in like a sad way and you get it in like it literally gives you all different types of emotions from that song, like in different iterations of it. And it just shows you too that like you can have variations on songs. But you can have
Right.
and
Right.
depending on what key you're singing in or what key the music is in or like what notes you add and what type of variation you do to it could really invoke different emotions, and that's why music is so important.
And as I said in the past, I saw this movie recently, not for the first time, but I showed it to my mom on the day where we had the big funeral to her uncle. And we, like I said, we both got very, very emotional over that particular one because she said that Nana Coco looks exactly like her grandmother, which made it even worse for her. But I'm bringing up my mom a lot on this episode. Ben, what's your number one?
My number one. Okay, it's a little bit of a cheat because I couldn't decide between these two, but they're from the same movie. It's Charles's death and Logan's death from Logan. Charles death because
I'll accept that.
what?
We can
What do you
accept it because
mean?
it's still from the same movie.
Yeah. Charles's death because he just given the heartfelt speech explaining why he's in so much pain, how he feels guilty, and out comes Logan from the shadows. You think he's going to embrace Charles, but no, he sticks out his claws and he kills him. But it's not Logan, it's his clone, X-24. And as Charles is dying, Logan comes back. Logan's crying, he thinking Charles don't die. It wasn't me, it wasn't me. It gets me every time. I love this scene because you didn't see this character coming, and yet He worked and worked. He's a great villain to go aboard. Old Man Logan, the fight is amazing. But this one scene stands out to me every time I watch it. Also, piggybacking on that, the whole Logan death scene, as he's like with X-23 standing over him, fulfilling that prophecy from the Wolverine. You're going to die with your heart in your hands. Now, being that heart, the feeling Logan is, he was like, no, Daddy, no, oh my God, it gets me every time. The turning of the cross to the X, oh, iconic, epic. Watching this character go through all the tragedy, all the hurt. Then over the last 17 years with the movies, gets me. This movie is incredible, it is perfection film, and my God, it gets me. It's the best comic book movie ever to me. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, and like you said
Oh,
too, taking that cross and turning it over and making it an X, like that solidifies that moment for me in
yeah.
that movie.
Also, upon rewatching the movie, when you see X-24, if you already know what happens, you can tell that's not the real Logan. But you don't see that coming the first time you see it. That was what makes it such a huge surprise when it does happen. But I mean, when Logan is trying to bury Charles, sorry, when he buries Charles next to a lake, he tries to give a eulogy, but he just can't. He can't get the words out. He's like, well, he's got water. He's got water. And then he just can't finish the words. And then obviously later he just passes out because of everything that happened to him in the last couple of days. But yeah, that whole movie in and of itself is a trip. And it's a great trip to be on. Also, I gotta address what you were saying. I don't think they were thinking that far ahead when they had that prophecy in the Wolverine. I don't think the Fox X-Men universe was really that forward thinking like the MCU. But it's great that the fans and maybe even James Mangold thought about it when he put that scene into the movie. But I think it's great that that's a nice way.
And I think it's a happy accident.
Yeah, it's great that it happened that way. That it can be interpreted in that way.
Okay,
Especially, I was just going to say, especially that Logan sacrifices himself for others, which he doesn't do the whole 17 years that we've known him. So it's finally showing that additional, character kind of development, basically. And well, yeah, really sweet. Obviously, when they turn the thing over, to the axis. No, obviously great moments, and he's the Charles stuff, is sad as well. But yeah, with him in particular, because obviously he's got his like new daughter now, so he can pass it on and things like that. So yeah, great pick.
Okay, 50. Destroy us all with your number one. We all know what's coming.
Anyone want to take a guess?
Can I have a clue?
Lion King.
Right?
Okay. Which moment?
So, I think I was like, my guess is either that it's Circle Life or it's Mufasa's death. Is my guess.
It was so hard to try to keep Lion King out of the conversation for an hour and 20 minutes, but here we are. And to be honest, it's the whole movie. Every single frame of that movie gets me, and I cannot watch that movie without crying. The songs, the visuals, the voice acting, everything. But if I had to pick a specific moment, of course I'm going Mufasa's death, because I don't know if you've seen this on YouTube, but that scene is so good it makes dogs cry. Like, have you ever seen that the whole a dog reacting to Mufasa's death? Just seriously, look it up. It's a rabbit hole. It's so good that dogs can actually feel it as well. And you know, going back, this whole list of all of us basically has been just about fathers and sons. Even like you mentioned with the Darth Vader. Speaking of James Earl Jones, what movie better emphasizes the loss of a parent better than The Lion King? Especially going into some real world stuff that Madge Sinclair passed away shortly after the movie. She was supposed to be in the sequel, but she didn't, so they wrote Sarabi out of the movie. But yeah, Mufasa, the ultimate loss of a father, the ultimate one of the best death scenes, period, in movie history. Not animated, not Disney, not animals. One of the best death scenes in any movie ever, and one of the best loss scenes in any movie ever.
Yeah, no doubt. Especially that his brother killed him. With his son overseeing it. Well, not literally, but and then telling him to go away and never return and send the hyenas on him. I mean, yeah, it's Shakespeare. These are Shakespeare tropes. Yeah. So it's not something that you expect in a Disney movie with animals. But yeah, no, of course, it's like I think if you just ask random people in the street, I think they would put this as like a top 3 moment. But yeah, no, I can't pick against it. But so you've got 3 Disney moments in your top 5, and then 2 more MCU moments.
That was those are my top 3 Disney movies, period. So those were the first ones that came to my head when you think about tear jerking. It's Lion King first, Beauty and the Beast second, and Aladdin at 4th. And I gotta quickly address people who say that the live action version doesn't have any emotion in it. I mean, you guys know I disagree. I mean, I don't think I talked to Bogz about this, but I disagree. And even if in that scene, when you look, I mean, obviously they emote as much as animals can emote. Like, you can't expect them to smile or be angry because that's just not how lion faces work. But if you look at the scene where, like, Mufasa is trying to climb back up and you see Scar popping up his head over the cliff. And
the music, too. Music is amazing.
But the look on Scar's face, just seriously, look at that scene and look at Scar's face knowing what he's about to do. This isn't like Scar in the animated version where he's like very passive about it, and then he's just very smirky and evil. This version of Scar, he sees his brother about to die. He knows what he's about to do, and he's just got that look of, I'm going to do it. I'm going to kill my brother. I'm going to do what I've been dreaming of for years. And he throws his brother. That's the main argument I give to people who say that the Lion King movie doesn't have any emotion. Just Scar's character in general is a roller coaster of emotions. And I just wanted to point that out. And going back to something we said earlier on this very show, yeah, I'm glad I chose wisely for my number 1 pick.
Yeah, I was about to shout out. I was like, and shout out to 50's mom, but you put it up.
That was another one. Sorry, I forgot to mention as an honorable mention. You just said it there. He chose wisely, but not that literally that moment. But in Indiana Jones, when he's reaching for the cup, and Sean Connery, his dad, tells him to let it go, son. Just leave it. That's definitely an epic moment. But yeah, sorry, I just thought of it as you said.
Fathers and sons. That should be the secondary name.
We should have banned it. Should have picked other ones except for fathers. These are too easy.
Fathers and daughters, if you want to count X23.
Yeah. Fathers and parents and children.
Yeah.
I was like, well, one of mine was a relationship, and the other one was a kid and their great grandmother. So it wasn't completely all fathers and sons on my end, but yeah, our show is pretty much fathers and sons.
Yeah, but I mean, yours still kind of counts because it's family.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay, all that.
Sorry, did you read off Matt's list? I didn't understand it. Can you just tell me Matt's list again? Just out of interest.
Number 5, Rocky meeting his grandson in Queen 2.
Okay.
Number 4, Harry's death in Armageddon.
Okay.
Number 3, the death of Bing Bong.
Death of who, sorry?
Bing Bong.
Big Bang.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Inside Out.
Number 2, Remember Me from Coco.
Mhm.
And number 1, Tony's Death and Funeral from Endgame.
Interesting.
All good picks, Matt, if you're watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wherever you may be.
Wherever
Okay,
you
with
may be.
all that being said, so you get to pick our next topic. Do you have one for next week?
Yes, we're gonna go to the world of anime because I'm a weeb. So we're gonna do top 5 anime shows.
I can honestly say I have some finally. It took me a long time, but I'm finally on the Studio Ghibli train.
Yay! Yeah, so anime shows or movies, like
I was gonna say.
yeah.
And and what how fitting it is that you're choosing this topic on the 25th anniversary of Pokemon. Just wanted to mention that. And I will say
I did it for
again,
you, 50. I did it for you.
aw, thank you. And
I did
gotta
mine for you as well. Don't forget about me.
Oh,
I didn't get that reaction. Yeah.
I gotta say
Just
that
playing.
my top 5 might actually be the only 5 anime series I actually watched.
Hey,
It's not the point
it
now.
works.
Okay, well, I want to say thank you very much, Bogz, for coming on today. And please plug, tell everyone where they can find you. You.
Yes, thanks very much for having me on. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Anytime you need someone stepping in or anything like that, let me know. Yeah, great show you guys got here, and I'll keep watching in the future, no doubt. But yeah, catch me on John Murky's YouTube channel every Saturdays for the Ultimate Shimano after show with my very good friend Sol here, and also catch us on the Pop Culture Universe as well. We've got all kinds of shows on there. But yes, Star Wars shows, reviews, reactions, all that stuff. So yeah.
Right. So,
Well, I'm on everything that Bogz just plugged, and then you can find me at SoulGovan on Twitter, at soul.k.govan on Instagram, and then you can find me every Wednesday here on the Media Studies Network for Soul Talk. And I should have Bogz in the future. I think I have you down, so you should come. You'll see him back here on this channel.
Just say the words.
50, how about you?
You can find me on my YouTube channel. Finally, I can actually point at my actual name. You can actually find me on my YouTube channel, 50 Shades of Geek. You can also find me on Twitch later today. I'm doing, in celebration of Pokemon's 25th anniversary, I'm doing a very, very, very long stream of Pokemon Sword. I'm going to just, my Shedinja series is on break to focus on today, because in celebration of Pokemon Day, I'm going to do an all Dynamax Adventure stuff. I don't even know how many hours I'm going to put into this, but it's definitely going to be a long one. We're hoping to find some shiny legendaries. I'll take any shiny at all, but if it's legendary, it's even better. And you can, speaking of my Shedinja playthrough, you can find it on my second channel, 50 Shades of Gaming. I take all the live streams from the Twitch, and I'm putting them as separate YouTube videos on my gaming channel. And you can also check out my Patreon. Speaking of Pokemon, I'm building and designing a Pokemon fan game based on Israel, the country that I live in. And it would be nice to have some support other than just Ben and Matt and my dad.
Wait, you're coming tonight, right, to the show?
No.
Yeah.
Sorry. I apologize, but I think I'm just going to embarrass myself if I do some Black Cinema trivia. Plus, I think it's better that actual people from the Black community do trivia about Black cinema as opposed to the whitest guy possible. So.
Fair enough. No, you're on every week anyway, so yeah, let someone else have a go, I guess.
And also, like I said, it's a very special day, so I haven't.
Nice.
You can find me at my Twitter, at BedRaider2. You can find me here on the Media Studies Network every Tuesday for Shooting the Breeze. Every Friday I'm recapping the past. And all both of us are with Matt. Every Saturday on this show with these 5 people, with Soul and with 50. And on every Sunday on Ben's Hot Take, where I give you my hot opinions about movie news that has come out that previous week. You can also find me on my other YouTube channel, Mount Smalldown, where we do Mount Smalldown every Saturday, where we deep dive into players' careers. And you can find me over there in an hour and 15 minutes.
So go watch Ben and then come back later to John Roca's channel and watch me and Bogz for the Ultimate Showdown After Show.
And
And you can
afterwards
also
goes straight to Ben.
you can also have a separate banner on mute just to watch how I'm doing if I'm still alive while you're watching.
With all that being said, everyone, stay ready and smash cancer.
Smash Cancer.
Never been more relevant in this episode.